Joe Biden left us with.
I'm not asking about Joe Biden. I'm asking you a specific question. If your department deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Is that correct?
It was greatly violated when they allowed
I'm asking you.
people to come
I'm
in
asking
and granted asylum applications.
Why are you filibustering? Why can't you answer the question? It's a simple question.
Your president,
if your department
your secretary
deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Isn't that correct?
The asylum program was broken under the last.
Mr. Chairman, I will reclaim my time. She's not answering the question.
What's up, Patriots? Welcome back to Right View Nation. Before we dive in, subscribe, like, share, and comment, because the border crisis and DHS accountability affect every American. All right, today we're reacting to that heated exchange where Representative Dan Goldman tries to corner DHS Secretary Kristi Noem over asylum, deportations, and ICE conduct. And I'm going to say it straight. This was less about the law and more about Democrats trying to win a viral clip while the country deals with the consequences of a broken immigration system.
For 5 minutes.
Secretary Noem, let's talk about the law. Do you agree that asylum is a lawful pathway to immigrate to this country? Yes or no?
There's an asylum program, yes, in place.
All right. So immigrants then with ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country, correct?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Your question was?
Immigrants with ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country.
There are individuals in this country that have applications that.
And they are legally here because it's a lawful pathway, right?
It's a lawful pathway.
Okay, so if your department then deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law, correct?
Joe Biden left us with.
I'm not asking about Joe Biden. I'm asking you a specific question. If your department deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Is that correct?
It was greatly violated when they allowed.
I'm asking you.
People to come in and granted asylum applications.
Why are you filibustering? Why can't you answer the question? It's a simple question.
Your president,
if your department deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Isn't that correct?
The asylum program was broken under the last.
Mr. Chairman, I will reclaim my time. She's not answering the question. But the obvious answer is that, yes, if you follow a lawful pathway, asylum is a lawful pathway. If you have an open asylum case, you are here lawfully. But the problem that we are seeing around the country is that you are not following the law. Don't tell us to change the law. If you don't like the asylum system, you change the asylum law. Bring it to us. We'll work with you. I think it needs to be changed. But you can't just decide that you're not going to follow the law, and asylum is a law, and deport people who have ongoing applications. Unfortunately, that is exactly what's happening. It's happening across the street from my office right in New York City. Numerous, thousands of people who have come to court appearances, have left them with open asylum applications, have been arrested. And then they've been shipped off and many deported. In September, one applicant was ripped away from his wife and small children after such a court appearance. And then this happened to his wife. Please play the video. No, it's not. It's not this one. All right, it's not this video. Here it is.
I'm yours. Oh, come on, man.
Now, after this incident, your department issued a statement that said the officer's conduct in this video is unacceptable and beneath the men and women of ICE. Our ICE law enforcement are held to the highest professional standards, and this officer is being relieved of current duties as we conduct a full investigation. 3 days later, you reinstated that officer and you put him back on duty. I sent you a letter and asked you what investigation was done and why was he reinstated. You did not answer that letter. So I'm going to give you an opportunity right here to explain to me that if that officer's conduct was, quote, beneath the men and women of ICE, unquote, why did you reinstate him?
Sir, that investigation was completed. I can give you that investigation and the information that you would like. This is
Well, I wrote you 2 months ago. Why haven't you given it to me
I'm
yet?
actually surprised that you haven't gotten it. I'm going to ask my staff about that.
Well, you
because
shouldn't
I
be
have
surprised
responded
because generally
to
speaking, you
hundreds
do
and
not
hundreds, if
respond
not
to
thousands
us.
of your letters.
Now, the other problem that we are
Mayorkas, when he had
seeing
this
all
job,
over
didn't
the
respond to letters
country
for years.
is that your officers are wearing masks, are dressed in plain clothes, often going around without identification.
All of our officers are
And
identified.
I'm not asking a question. I introduced the No Secret Police Act to stop this. And we now have 113 co-sponsors so that they will not be masked and that they will identify themselves. Now, you say all of them are identifying themselves. That is not the case because last month in New York City again, the NYPD officers were injured by your masked plainclothes ICE officers after they were called from 911 as residents witnessed your officers pulling individuals out of their vehicles and chasing them down the street. I also asked you what happened there. How were the NYPD officers injured by your officers? And you didn't respond. What's the answer?
Sir, our individual
Gentlemen's
officers
time
are
is
identified.
time has expired.
I yield
I
back.
recognize gentleman from Texas, Mr. Gonzalez, 5 minutes.
Goldman opens with the classic yes or no setup. Is asylum a lawful pathway? Sure, asylum exists legally. But the left uses that one fact like a magic shield. They act like if someone says asylum, enforcement must stop forever. That's not how any serious nation functions. Asylum was designed for people fleeing real persecution, not as an all-purpose workaround for illegal entry. Goldman keeps repeating. If they have a pending asylum application, they're here legally. The reality is more complicated. Status can vary, credibility matters, fraud exists, missed court dates happen, and some cases involve criminal history or prior orders. Democrats hate nuance because nuance doesn't fit into a 10-second gotcha clip. Goldman tries to force Noem into admitting DHS is violating the law. He accuses her of filibustering when she won't give him the soundbite. But this is political theater. He wants a headline, not a fix. If Congress believes enforcement is misapplied, then legislate clearly. If DHS is wrong, investigate and correct. But endless grandstanding doesn't secure a border. Goldman says, if you don't like the asylum system, change the law. Conservatives have been demanding reforms for years. Tighten asylum standards, stop abuse, expand detention, end catch and release, and speed up legitimate decisions. Democrats block it, call it cruel, then act shocked when enforcement gets messy. They want the system broken because chaos is politically useful. Goldman claims asylum applicants are being arrested at court and removed. If true, that deserves scrutiny. But here's what Democrats never admit. The system has been flooded, and enforcement becomes unpredictable when the law is treated like a suggestion for years. You can't run a nation on loopholes and vibes. Goldman leans on a heartbreaking example of a man taken from his family. Nobody wants families hurt, but emotional stories can't be the only standard. Where's the compassion from Democrats for American families wrecked by fentanyl, trafficking, and overwhelmed local services? A country without borders becomes a country without safety. Goldman highlights DHS condemning an officer's conduct, then reinstating him days later. Here's my view. If misconduct happened, discipline should be real. Standards matter. But we also can't pretend ICE operates in a vacuum. They're working in a hostile climate where politicians and media demonize them for enforcing immigration law. Hold the line and hold professionalism. Goldman pushes the masked agents narrative and calls it secret police. That phrase is designed to smear enforcement and intimidate agents out of doing their jobs. In many places, agents wear face coverings because of doxing threats, harassment, and activist mobs. If you want less tactical enforcement, stop fueling lawlessness and targeting the people tasked with enforcing the law. Goldman mentions NYPD officers being injured in an incident involving ICE. That needs clear answers and better coordination, period. But again, Democrats use every conflict to attack ICE, while ignoring the policies that create chaos. Sanctuary politics, non-cooperation, and endless incentives that draw more illegal crossings. We need a secured border, asylum reform that stops abuse and protects real refugees, end catch and release, fast, fair adjudication, support for law enforcement with real accountability. America First priorities for citizens and legal immigrants. That's not extreme. That's normal. Now I want to hear from you. Was Goldman seeking truth, or just chasing a viral gotcha? Drop your take in the comments. And don't forget, subscribe, like, share, and comment. This is Right View Nation, and we're not staying quiet.